Private transport is responsible for tons of polluting emissions annually, and with global warming being a more pressing issue, we need to change to public transport. And why not? It has significant social and economic benefits when considering the holistic picture. As a part of our GP project, we wanted to allow our audience to realize this and hopefully choose the wiser option.
There are many ways in which road transport can be made significantly more sustainable. Let's talk about these one by one. So the first thing is using electric/hybrid cars. So these being electric and hybrid cars, they lower CO2 emissions and are being used more and more every day. Moreover, if better forms of energy are invented, such as fusion power and artificial photosynthesis, electric cars will become even more clean. Secondly, you have green highways. Since these use recyclable materials and permeable materials, there is less waste and so fewer landfills. Landfills are extremely dangerous to the environment if not managed properly, and having less of them means that this risk is highly diminished. Lastly, you have the implementation of driverless cars. These are, as their names suggest, cars that are able to navigate roads and other environments entirely autonomously and without error. The benefits of establishing driverless cars are numerous. Some of them include safer roads, increased roadway capacity, more free time for the traveler, less traffic congestion, less fuel consumption, the creation of jobs, enhanced mobility, and better transportation for all. So what exactly would implementations of these three ideas involve? The economical cost would admittedly be high in the short term. The lasting effect that sustainable forms of road transport would have would largely outweigh the disadvantages. A lot of policy and legislative changes would also have to be made to encourage the public to stop using traditional petrol cars. Furthermore, there would have to be a large shift in government expenditure to fund these initiatives. Now that we know how the implementation of sustainable road systems would work, let's consider UAE's transport system as an example. The UAE has a very strong and well-connected road system that is essentially the backbone of transportation in the nation. With such a developed system, it comes as no surprise that cars are the main mode of transport in the UAE. Therefore, it is then reasonable to conclude that if one positively affected the road transport in the UAE, it would have very widespread advantages both for the environment and for the economy. As part of UAE's Vision 2021, UAE is aiming to upgrade their quality of road infrastructure, share of clean energy contribution, and air quality index. The UAE is paving the way for sustainable road transport by removing fuel subsidies and encouraging the use of electric and hybrid cars. This is well in line with what the UAE is trying to achieve with their Vision 2021 goals and is the gateway to more sustainable road transportation.
The most efficient way to transport people and cargo are trains. Trains help link and support wider communities by bringing businesses together on both an international and a national scale. A good example would be the Gulf Cooperation Council rail, which will integrate with the Etihad rail that will seek to bring more jobs from around the Gulf into the country and into the city, which will help in turn bolster the economy. Since rails often use their own kind of rail infrastructure and networks, it means that fewer people use cars, and this makes it more sustainable, and it has the social benefits, of course, of reducing road congestion and reducing the chances of accident. Another advantage of rails, especially when we look at light train systems such as the metro or the tram or monorails, etc., is that it enhances urban connectivity. In fact, quite a large proportion of the workforce here at Dubai use the metro every day to get to their workplace, and this has obviously brought great economic benefits. Because railway corporations are often so big in size, they are essential to developing human resource within countries. For example, the Indian Railway is one of the largest public corporations within the country, employing vast thousands of people and essentially being a rudimentary part to the economy and assisting in the human development of people within the country. To put it into perspective, one fully loaded cargo train, when we talk in terms of the environment, per year can save carbon dioxide emissions equivalent to planting 52 million trees. One fully loaded train produces 70 to 80% less carbon dioxide emissions than the equivalent trucks required, which of course is a positive step towards tackling global warming and relative issues of climate change. Finally, when we look into the future of trains, we have the Hyperloop coming up, with feasibility tests being conducted for one between Dubai and Abu Dhabi, the two largest cities within the United Arab Emirates. And the Hyperloop can be built for 1/10 of the cost of a normal railway for every kilometer of journey. This will also allow for the journey time from Dubai to Abu Dhabi, which currently takes roughly 2.5 hours by road, to just 12 minutes. This, of course, has the greater aim of enhancing connectivity.
Water-based transportation has dated back for thousands of years and is still used even today, as it is the easiest and cheapest mode of transportation. Unlike rail and road systems, we do not have to construct waterways because rivers and seas are given by nature. It is also having an important role in international trade. Moreover, during natural calamities like floods and heavy rainfall, rail and road systems are not accessible. Thus, rescue missions are undertaken by water transportation. In the UAE, an Abra was the traditional mode of transportation until cars and metros were introduced. However, in 2016, the Dubai Canal, a man-made waterway, was built and reintroduced water-based transportation. This 2.7 billion dirham project consists of a 3.2 kilometer long canal which is 10 to 80 meters wide and 4 to 6 meters deep. It is an extension of the Dera Creek, lining Business Bay to the Arabian Gulf, where buses and ferries will operate almost every day from 10 a.m. to 12 midnight. There are 3 pedestrian bridges which connect either side of the canal with unique aesthetic specifications. From an environmental point of view, the canal will improve the quality of water of the entire waterway as well by 33%, and improving the turnover of water in the entire system to 4 times a year. It is more environmentally friendly than the hundreds of cars and buses that travel back and forth almost every day. From an economic point of view, the canal will enhance tourist and commercial activities on both banks of the canal, and the value of property in the area are likely to double. UAE uses water-based transportation to enhance tourism in the region.
Buses are often underrated and overlooked as a means of transport. Certainly here in Dubai, buses are not nearly as favorable as the metro, taxis, or even personal transport. The main reasons for this would be the prejudice about buses, which has emerged from various harrowing tales of nightmare bus rides. But these are isolated incidents, and the bus system in Dubai, for instance, is clean and affordable, not to mention efficient and sustainable. In fact, public transportation is twice as fuel efficient as private automobiles. There's also the reduction in the use of natural resources. Less cars on the road means less fuel used, means less resources used. It's basic science. One of the main plus points about buses and, well, public transportation in general is that it's often cheaper than owning and operating a car. This is true in most countries and is especially prevalent here in Dubai. Loads of office workers use public transport to get to and from their workplaces and homes. But the future of bus transportation is certainly bright. Taking an example, the China Superbus. Passengers on board the bus are expected to experience a ride comparable to riding in the upper level of a double-decker bus. The bus will be electrically powered using overhead lines or other roof electrical contact systems designed for it, supplemented with photovoltaic panels. It will travel up to 60 km per hour, and different versions will be able to carry up to 1,200 passengers. The bus would have alarms to warn cars traveling too close to it, and signals to warn other vehicles when it's about to turn. Granted, this idea did not really work out in practice, and in fact contributed to local congestion. But this failure may well provide a stepping stone for the future. But the future is now. introducing the Torso concept and test bus, a large, full-capacity urban battery electric bus system developed in Geneva. Quote, no overhead lines and ultra-fast charging times at bus stops pave the way for next generation of silent, flexible, zero-emissions urban mass transit. The first system is expected to save over 1,000 tons of carbon dioxide in its first year of implementation alone. Think smart, move smart.